Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Life Pod. Today we have on businessman, CEO of Broadband Solutions, Sam Bashiry. Brother, thank you very, very much for your time today. We appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on, boys.
Dude, this is amazing. Honestly, thank you so much. You're a very busy man. We understand you got a lot of things going on, a lot of things in the works. So for you to take time out of the day to have us on means a lot, especially, you know, we're not the biggest podcast in the world, but, you know, you took your time out. So for you to accept us, that means genuinely a lot to us. So thank you.
It does.
I appreciate it.
It's sort of a milestone for us, I guess, because we knew about you before we started our journey. You were a massive inspiration to us. And you're like, no, you're laughing and it's just like, but genuinely. So we saw your story and we've known about you for a very long time. And again, I guess in the back of our heads, when you're doing something like this, it is just understanding your story. It's just like, oh, it can be done. And it's just all it takes is hard work.
On a very simple level, even for the podcast, as you know, you've had your own, like you sort of want to get bigger names. And like you were such a big milestone for us. And now to be sitting here and it's happening.
Too nice now. Stop. I don't like compliments. I feel uncomfortable. But no, thanks, boys. You know, and everything I've ever done, you know, I think I got into social media stuff maybe, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years time flies, you know.
Yeah.
But it was always about exactly what you boys are saying because, you know, before we started the podcast, we had a little bit of a chat about things. And I said, you know, you don't understand things until you walk in someone's shoes. So you have to go through your own struggles in life. You have to struggle. If you don't struggle in life, how are you going to learn? How are you going to appreciate things? Like very, very, very important. So, you know, for me, it was about when I grew up, there was no social media, you know. I think Facebook was around. I've never used Facebook. I still don't know how to use it. But like it was about, you know, there was no one there to mentor you. There was no one there that you can look up to, you know, within your own way. So for me, with social media, it gave me the opportunity to do that for other younger people that perhaps are where I used to be 20, 30 years ago. You know, I don't make money from social media, you know. I get people asking me, hey, can you endorse this and that? And I'll never do it. It's not something that I'll do.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, people send me stuff and I forgot to put it on because I don't actually take it. So I can't put it on if I don't take it. And I feel guilty and I forget who sent it. And like,
I'm sorry.
I know. But because I forget because my head's not in that headspace. You know,
you're thinking about so many more important things.
Yeah, but like my head's not about doing that. And then I feel guilty because I'm like, fuck, I didn't put that on. I'm like, fuck, I don't know these things. So I'm not, my head wasn't trained like that. It was never about that. It was never about being an influencer. It was never about making money. It was never about promoting stuff. It was always about
sharing your journey.
Yeah, and just trying to be as authentic as possible, you know. And I think one of the things that people forget is that your journey still continues. You know, you still, till today, have struggles. Doesn't matter what you have, what you achieved. Doesn't mean you're set, you know. You still have to get up every morning. You still have to work every day. You know, we don't have that luxury.
That's a really big misconception. A lot of people think, you know, once you've made it or you've made money, they go, yep, that's it. It's like, if anything, it gets harder because you've got more money to handle, more people, more companies, etc. The problems actually get harder and more difficult because you're managing so many more people as well.
The stresses are amplified.
100%. Yeah. Instead of dealing with, you know, 15 grand, you're dealing with, you know, 500,000, $1 million, whatever it might be.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing that people forget, you know. It's very important. And I think people forget, like, there's a massive misconception in terms of people see you have nice things, okay? And they're like, oh, that person's so rich. They got all these things. Like, if you came from wealth and your parents, and there's nothing wrong with this, if your parents are wealthy, they gave you things and you had things that you didn't have to continuously pay for, then that's great. If you bought crypto, NFT, or whatever you want to call it now, right? And, you know, and you hit the jackpot, good on you. Yeah. Good on you. All right, you made a crazy amount of money. But what people don't understand is people like me, I started a business 18 years ago. I never had funding. I never had 1 cent of funding. Not 1 cent, okay? Everything that I have, I still have to work for every day to have. And this is what people don't understand. So people see the nice cars, okay? The cars belong to the bank. I have to work every month to pay those repayments to be
Correct.
able to enjoy those cars.
Yeah.
House, everything, I still have to continuously pay for it because I didn't have someone fund my business with $20 million that I could use to do this. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just talking about my personal life and my model of my life. So people understand.
Yeah.
You know, like you go out, have a good night out, and people are like, "Oh fuck, man, where are you going to work tomorrow?" I'm like, well, who's going to pay the bills? I'm gonna go to work. Like I'm not.
The business doesn't run itself.
Yeah, it doesn't. You still have to show up. You know, and with that comes a lot of stresses. It's not easy, and I think that's the misconception there, because people think, "Oh, you've made it," or you got all these nice things. And then that brings all sorts of other things, because people feel self-entitled that they should have things from you because you have things, but they don't understand, like, I still have to work for my things, you know.
Correct.
And it'll be nice. And I think one day when you cash out, hopefully, and you sell and you get to that position, that'll be an awesome position. I've never experienced that position personally. So for me,
Are you planning to?
Look, everybody one day, like not now, but for me right now, it's just about, you know, investing back into the business, investing back into my personal life, and becoming a better version of myself every day. Because again, not just with business, but yourself too. You know, we all have our faults. No one's perfect. I always say perfect is boring. We all have to just continuously improve in life.
Always evolving.
Have to. Yeah.
It's funny that we sort of got straight onto that whole topic, because today's episode we really want to base it around, because our show is called The Life Pod.
Yeah.
So what we, I guess, strive to do is help our audience. Yep. But there's always that question in the back of people's heads is like, what is the answer to life? What is the perfect balance? Yep. And there's a whole momentum at the moment in society with escaping the rat race and making money.
And getting out of the 9 to 5, getting out of the matrix.
And then there's
Andrew
also
Tate and all that stuff.
Then there's also the spectrum of, you know, from an energetic level. So the energy that you actually use in that period of time, you know, deteriorates your soul. Yep. And that's, I guess, what we sort of wanted to touch on today. I do know that you sort of touched on your past a lot, but just for our listeners who don't know, do you mind just giving a very quick a rundown of how you came to Australia?
Yep.
And your story?
We know, we did some research and we saw that you came to Australia when you were 10. That was in 89, and then you guys lived in the detention center for 2 years.
Yep.
So again, like you said, people don't see that. People say, oh, this guy's rich, he drives nice cars, he's got, you know, whatever. But they don't see living in a detention center for 2 whole years is, please touch on that.
Yeah,
man.
so I came here when I was 10 years old. I came here with my mum and sister. I was locked up around 2.5 years roughly. Then after that, we went to a hostel. We lived in the hostel. I went to, the hostel was in Springvale, so I went to school in Springvale. And then I moved around a lot of different schools. My father came maybe 6-7 years later, so I didn't see my dad growing up. So for me, as a kid,
so was that 6 years straight without seeing? your father?
I didn't see my father. Yeah, roughly around.
Did that sort of force you to sort of put on your big boy pants?
I was the father.
Exactly.
I was the father.
You had to play the father figure.
I was the father figure. So so when we came here, I had to grow up very quickly, and I really didn't get to play video games and all that kind of stuff. Even back in Iran, when I lived in Iran, towards the end, before we left, there was a war between Iran and Iraq. So there was a lot of bombings at night. You hear the sirens go off, you have to go and hide, and then you come out and you see a street that's just basically all gone, dead people everywhere. So you get to experience as a kid. And you shouldn't. It's not good for you, but that's what you get. Well, I got to experience. Then came here, and coming here, it wasn't just about getting locked up. It's just about the fact that they used to tell my mum every day, "Oh, we're going to send you back to Iran," and you know, my mum had to go through that because if you go back there, then they'll kill you because you ran away. So there's all this kind of stuff that's going on, and you know, you basically see a lot of trauma around you on a daily basis.
You build trauma.
Yeah, you see a lot of trauma, like your parents maybe your mum going through trauma, all this shit. You, as a kid, you know, every time they say if everything that happens to you, most things that happen to you and the person that you become, it's from your childhood. So if you go back here to your childhood, you have a look at all the trauma and everything that we went through, really builds you and makes you become. So yeah, after that, I went to school. I finished high school. I went to uni. I really wasn't a big fan of university.
What did you do in uni?
I did a couple of courses. I went to La Trobe first. I did electrical engineering / something else. I can't even remember. I dropped out at La Trobe in Bandura after a year. I just didn't fit in. At all. After that, I went to Swinburne. I did information technology. I did a double degree / something else. I didn't finish that either. I just didn't have the attention span to sit in a lecture room for an hour. You would have got some
really big hex there.
So yeah, I actually did. I did. I never thought about that, you know.
Which is paid off.
Yeah, which is paid off right now. But when I started working in a call center and once I made extra amount of money, I'm like, oh, where's my money going? So, I'm like, fuck, I should have studied. I should have got something for this. Anyhow, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, okay.
But you're 100% right. I'm sure we've probably all heard the saying where adversity builds character.
Yep.
Like if you just never go through anything and life's always perfect, it's like, how do you learn to deal with things? How do you build character? How do you know how to treat things with value and respect? It's just, again, going back to the whole thing of where some people are born with wealth. That's fine.
Yep.
But majority of the time, I'm speaking from experience. So people that I've met,
Yep.
they don't really understand the value of hard work and the value of money because they don't understand what it takes to, again, buy a $3,000 laptop. It's just like, oh yeah, mum and dad bought it or whatever it might be.
Yeah, that's true. I remember buying my first computer was a Commodore 64. You guys are probably too young to understand what that is. They have floppy disk. You have to put floppy disk in it.
Yeah.
And we bought it from Chatston, and we bought it. They had a sale on, and we didn't have a car, so you had to put it in the trolley and push it in the trolley all the way home, in the shopping trolley. I still remember it, man. I actually still have it. I got to go and look for it, but I still have it. But nothing was ever easy. Everything we had to work hard for, and then I look at it all as a journey. So your journey starts somewhere, and then you go through this journey of life, and throughout that journey, you make a lot of mistakes. You learn a lot, but it's beautiful, and it's really nice sometimes to listen to other people's journey to give you hope, but also allow you to understand that when you make mistakes and do things wrong, it's okay. Everybody does it. No one's
That's how we
perfect.
learn.
Yeah.
Who have been major inspirations for you growing up and in the process of starting the business? And I guess because it's one thing to, and maybe it was a huge impact, the fact that you in the detention center for 2 years. Maybe that's what the switch was for you to, but then I also heard you sort of say that you didn't really know for a few years, and then it just came in, and then it was just like, all right, I have to, leave the 9 to 5. I have to make it work. Yeah,
for me, like my biggest hero inspiration in my life is my mum and dad, by miles. Okay, because my mum and dad, the sacrifices they made for me to have the life that I have today, it's just phenomenal. And I don't think I'm man enough to do what my mum and dad did for me if I was them, because they made a lot of sacrifices to bring us and give us the opportunity to live the life that we do. So I would never be where I am today without their sacrifices. So that's number one. Number two is that growing up as a kid, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I had no idea. I was very lost. So I was going to uni. I was spending half of my time at the cafeteria.
So I can relate to that.
As we do.
I just wanted to fuck around with my friends. I had no ambition. But I never liked, at the same time, I always disliked it when I just wasted my time doing nothing at the same time. So for me, there was a moment in my mum and dad's driveway where I sat in the car and I reflected about my life and where I'm going in life, and I felt like an absolute loser. I had no direction. I was going to uni. I wasn't studying, so I knew I wasn't going to become a programmer or engineer or IT guy. It just wasn't going to be me because I wasn't good at it. I was fucking failing. I was never rocking up to exams and all that kind of stuff. So I said, well, where am I going to end up? This is not the way. And I went to Centrelink and I looked for a job in Centrelink in Knox City, and there's an IT job which was in a call center. This is back in the dial-up days.
Knox City, wow.
Yeah, so I used to live in Rowville.
Oh, the area.
Rowville, yeah, I used to live off Kellett's Road.
We're from Rowville.
Yeah. Okay, I used to live off Kellett's Road. But back then, Kellett's Road was a bush.
Wow.
Did they have the fish and chip shop there?
No, bro.
I drive on it every single day.
Do you? Okay,
Wow.
so I used to live off Kellett's Road.
Yep.
So I went to Knox City.
Good old
Got
Knox.
an interview at 459 Collins Street.
Sorry to cut you off. It's like, again, it's so amazing to see how we remember such small details of such milestone events. It's like, I got an interview. It's like he remembers the date, the time, the exact location, because that's where the turning point was.
Of course I remember. Yeah, it's
That's
part of
huge.
my life, of course. Yeah, And I went for an interview and at 459 Collins, and they interviewed me. It was basically a call center job. So back in the dial-up days, if you couldn't connect to the internet, they call us and we help you connect to the internet. So I did that for a number of years, and after doing that for a number of years, I thought, fuck, this is a terrible job. Everyone that's always ringing me is pissed off because the internet's not working. It's pretty depressing.
And you got to cop it, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I used to swear and I forget that I haven't hung up on the customers. It's pretty bad, So I got into sales. I loved sales. I love networking. I love people. You know, I still love people. I love networking. I love meeting new people. You know, I learn from people. I love, you know, feeling other people's energy. It's pretty powerful stuff. So I went to sales, and then from sales, I did that for a number of years, and then one day I just decided that, you know what, I could do my own thing, and I started my own business. And that was 18, 19 years ago now. So
that was Broadband Solutions?
That was Broadband Solutions. So yeah, you know, and throughout that journey, you know, I've spoken about this before, there was really probably two or three things that happened in that journey that really changed my life and changed the business. There was a couple of phone calls, and they really changed the path to what we do today and how we ended up being here today, you know. And I always say to people, like, you know, I was talking about Steve Jobs before, you know, and you know, Steve Jobs always said that, like, when you look back, you can connect all the dots. And at that moment, a lot of things that happen to you, you don't recognize the power or what that's going to do, that meeting, that catch-up, that when you cross paths with someone and say hello to them, or some little things that happen, because they're just like everyday things. But it could change your life, and you can always see that when you look back. And a lot of times, when some things go wrong, you're so disappointed and hate yourself for it, and you're like, you know, smashed. You're like, why? How did this happen? And you look back, you're like, fuck, that disappointment was the best thing that ever happened to me, because if I didn't fail there, I wouldn't have done what I'm doing today. But at that moment, you don't recognize that. How you're supposed to know? You're not supposed to know, you know, because you look at it at that moment. Yeah, but when you look back, you're like, fuck, you know, if I did get that job when back 20 years ago, I would never started my own business. If I didn't make that phone call, or if I didn't answer that phone call, I wouldn't be where I am today. If I didn't do X, Y, Z, and they're just little things, but those little things just put you on such a different fucking direction.
Taking action.
Yeah, man. And like, you have to, you know, and it's phenomenal how it just changes your life. So that's why, like, you know, you always have to have a good outlook. You know, it's nice to meet people. It's nice to, you know, listen to people. It's nice to, you know, give people time, right? Because you never know what could happen, you know.
That's just, on a very basic note, the principle of networking. It's like why networking is so important.
It's very important.
I think failure and lessons, again, I think Leo sort of said this, it's like trying to bake a cake without flour.
You can't succeed without failing.
You can't succeed without those lessons and without those failure points.
100%. Yeah.
One question, do you want to go?
Yeah, so you were speaking about before, like what you go through, and, you know, you only have one life. We wanted to touch on that. So what are your thoughts on, like, before lives and after lives? Do you believe in it? Do you guys believe in, like, do you believe in, like, reincarnation?
Look, man, I'm a Muslim. I was born and raised a Muslim. My family's Muslim. I went to a Catholic church. I went to a Catholic school. So I'm not big on religion. I think personally, religion is just different stories that were told along the way too. So people behave, and they don't go and rape and kill people without the army and the police back in those days. So you have to have stories so that people believe in something that keeps them going, and also they're afraid of certain things, so they pull their head in. But I believe that it's very important to, if someone, you know, respect people for their own religion, but don't try to push people to convert or do what you want to do. Each their own, but you got to have respect for people's religion, because that's what they believe in. But I'm a massive believer of faith. You have to believe in something.
You also mentioned energy
and faith. They're very important, man. You got to believe in something. And you know, reincarnation, you come back as someone else. I looked into this. I remember, like, maybe 7-8 years ago, I met a lady in I knew someone, and they told me about this lady. So I went and saw this lady in Frankston, and I thought, I'm definitely going to get robbed here. on the way there, I saw the cars with missing wheels. Fuck, here we go. It's all right. I had a shitty car then. Anyway. And you know, this lady said certain things. I never met her before. She said these things to me, and it fucking blew me away, because
like one of those readings where they sort of read you.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking crazy. And she talked about reincarnation, and she said to me, you know, because one thing that I don't really get upset. It takes a lot to piss me off. But one of the things I don't like is when someone accuses you of something that you haven't done. And that's one thing that's I hate it. I
don't think you're alone there.
Yeah, I just hate that. Like, it just really pisses me off. It's in the wrong spot. If I've done it, I've done it. But if someone is doing something, I'm like, well. And she said to me that apparently I used to be a sailor in my past life, and I got hung for a crime that I hadn't committed, and that's why I probably hate ever being accused of something. And she didn't know me from
In your
miles.
past
So-
life,
Yeah.
wow.
and like that fucking blew me away. And for her to say that and just pinpoint it like that, it just really blew me away. And I'm like, fuck, maybe there is an afterlife. But you know, how do you know these things? You know,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
You don't know.
And
But
that's why we'll bring it up. It's like, you know, the way we think, the way we act, the things we like, the things we don't like. It's like maybe they're just traumas that we've gone through, like you said, in our past life that we didn't even know existed.
yeah. So I explored it, man. I love exploring things. I'm very open to things, man. I'm very open to all sorts of different things and learning. So for me, that was my experience with that. And like, I live my life in one way, and my life is that I went through a lot of shit growing up. I worked for 18, 20 years. I didn't hit the jackpot with Bitcoin. I worked for 18 years day in, day out. Okay.
Wow.
We're in a different era. We're in a complete different
So
era.
I'm still doing it, you know.
Yeah.
So come and talk to me when you've done something back to back for 20 years, not fucking 1 or 2 years, and you hit it off and gone. And good on you, but it's
Does it
totally different. It's
does it-
different, man.
Dude,
Does it frustrate you?
No, it doesn't frustrate me, man. Like, if people are respectful, it doesn't frustrate me. But I hate it when someone does something and they hit jackpot and they look down on others and they think they're better than others. That I don't like.
Yeah.
Because that's arrogance, and arrogance is a very ugly trait for a person to have.
100%.
But no, otherwise, no. If they're good people, no, fuck yeah, man. Enjoy it. Good on you. Why not? 100%. But it's different. You know, when you do something 18, 20 years back to back, that's not fucking fluke. You cannot fluke something 20 years.
It's hard
right?
work.
Everyone's looking for the quick fix nowadays. How do I make $1 million?
Yeah,
How do
man.
I flip this?
Yeah.
I really wanted to like bring that up to everyone.
Yeah.
20 years.
20 years, man. I'm still doing it.
20
I'm still
years.
doing it. I still have to do it to have my lifestyle. And
Exactly.
this is people that don't understand, you know. People think, oh, you're rich. I am not rich. I'm rich in love and energy and life, but I still have to work. If I don't work tomorrow, all the things that I have will disappear. And that's what people don't understand, okay? So, and I like it like that in a way because it keeps me accountable.
Keeps you humble.
Yeah, it
Keeps
keeps
you
me
as a
accountable
human,
too,
man.
bro. Yeah, I have to, bro. Like, you know, it keeps me accountable that I have to still rock up. Because I don't know. I really don't know what I would do if I didn't. I'll probably become an idiot. I'll lose my mind. I'll be bored. I'll do stupid things and probably die. Who fucking knows? But, you know, so in a way, it's a good thing. But it has a lot of pressure. And I think it's okay for people to understand that it's okay not to be able to sleep at night because you have a lot on your mind. I still struggle to sleep at night. So I usually go to bed around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning because I struggle to sleep. So I have so much going on in my mind, you know, with so many different things that I can't sleep until like I'm really, really tired and my body shuts down. I'll still get up at 5:36 every morning. Probably the last 10 years.
3-4 hours sleep.
Yeah, man. Probably the last 10 years. Last week or the week before, I got up at 10:30 for the first time in probably 10 years. And it fucking blew me
Wow.
away. I felt like a bum.
How
I'm
was
like,
that?
oh, and I had
bad,
a meeting with
isn't
KPMG. I had a phone conversation with KPMG, and I'm like, oh fuck, I just almost missed it, you know. And I was just so shocked because my body needed it. Obviously, I was very tired, you know. But I still have a lot of stresses. So, you know, when you have stresses and all that kind of stuff, it's okay. You know, it's not bad to have stresses. People think like, oh my God, I'm down today. Something's wrong with me. I need to go get fucked up. So, you know, I have to come back up again because it's not, man. It's okay.
Wow.
It's okay. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to be like, you know, stressed. It's okay to have things on your mind. Everybody does.
It's okay to not feel okay.
It's okay not to feel okay, man. It's not. You're not supposed to always be on a high. You're not supposed to always have good things happening.
And I think it's a massive push with social media. Is just it's a front for everyone to post their best, their
Good
highlights,
things.
good things.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
and it's just
bullshit.
like if you're not getting that, you should feel like shit.
Exactly. And people become jealous and envious of other people's lives, and then they lose their way. They sell their soul, and they become a different person to live that life at the cost of what's fucking important and what they're selling to get that in their life. And it's shit, man. And it's really, really sad. And I just think like you gotta just like always have this thing, stay in your own fucking lane, do your own thing, and just focus on you and make your own mistakes and get your own wins and get your own losses. But don't worry about other people because otherwise you get so consumed by other people's lives that you can't
Again,
live your
it's
own.
like-
And you lose track.
You
What's
lose.
the purpose?
What is the purpose?
What is our purpose?
What is the purpose? I think the purpose of life is to live your life to the fullest on your own terms. in order to live your life to the fullest on your own terms, you have to earn that fucking right. How do you earn that fucking right? By working your ass off and doing what you have to do to be able to do what you want to do. Not on someone else's back, right? On your own. As a man, I'm very old school. You got to be able to walk out of a room with your head held up high. Okay, so, buddy, you want to drink the best drinks, you want to eat the best food, fucking work hard for it, man, and come and pay for it. Don't go to a room with other people and fucking sponge on the others and stuff. It's just disgusting.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what's happening to this world, but you're getting a lot of people like that these days.
Just
It's
want to
so
sponge
sad.
and leech onto people.
It's embarrassing, but
Yeah.
man, like I didn't grow up like that, I still open the door for a girl. Like, there's basic things
Manners,
people
yeah.
don't fucking do it
Morals,
anymore.
bro,
Yeah,
morals.
they don't have it, man. And they don't teach you that in a book or at school. That comes from your family and your upbringing.
Ethics.
Yeah, it does, man.
Yeah.
Your
And
parents teach you that stuff, man. Manners.
And if you open a door for a girl nowadays, it's like, oh, you're not a man. Let her open it herself.
Yeah,
you know?
nah, it's silly, man. Well,
ridiculous.
those things are like, old school values, and it's nice to pass that on to your kids and family and stuff. It's nice to do nice things for people, and just do you, And like you said, people will say, oh, it's not the right thing to do. Fuck them. Who cares what they say? They don't pay your fucking bills. They're not in your life.
Correct.
They don't live with you. Who are they?
So I guess one thing I want to ask too is, you've had your journey.
Yeah.
You came 2 years into 10%. You had obviously your period of time as a teenager, young 20s, and then you made the step to the business.
Yep.
Worked hard for almost 20 years now. Have you enjoyed the journey?
Fuck yeah, man. It's the best thing. Like if I lost everything tomorrow, it wouldn't bother me because I live my life to the fullest. People are like, oh man, don't buy nice cars. People will judge you. They'll fucking extort you. They do this. Buy this. Why are you buying a nice car, bro? Don't show your people. Fuck them all, man. What do you work hard for, man? You worked hard, okay? You have to enjoy the fruits of your labor. I don't want to drive a Ferrari when I'm 80 years old and I can't fucking get out of a car. My back's broken. I'll be embarrassed. I will never even drive one at that age. It's embarrassing, man. I'll buy a fucking normal car and drive it at 80 years old. It's embarrassing to see an old man driving a car like that. It's made for young people, okay? But you got to work hard for it, man. You can't steal, you can't rob, you can't fucking cheat other people.
Earn it, like you said.
You got to earn it, man. And that's what bothers me. When I see people that are living a life that they didn't earn it themselves, and they stole from others, or they robbed from others, or raised money that they didn't use properly, or they float their company and they fuck the company and they use the money to live the lifestyle, because it's not their money, it's the shareholders' money. And when I see things like that, I don't like. But otherwise, you have every right to live your life to the fullest.
It literally comes down to they're trying to uphold this social media lifestyle that they don't actually have, to look a certain way, so people think of them in a certain way. It comes down to, again, why the fuck do you care about what people think of you anyway?
Yeah, because it comes from insecurities, man.
And ego.
Yeah,
people
ego,
people don't like hurting their ego.
Yeah, it's
people don't like, oh yeah, I drive a Ford Falcon, or I drive a Camry.
Yeah,
it's like, who cares?
If people love you, they don't care what you drive. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
And one thing I learned is like, so for me to go into ego, like ego is a good thing and a bad thing. So your ego pushes you to become somebody because you always have something to prove. So I as a kid growing up, I had a lot of insecurities and I had a lot of ego because I never felt good enough. So for me, I never felt good enough because I was always the kid that had the shittest shoes. I was the kid that had the shittest clothes at school. I was a kid that never fit in with the cool people in school,
It's massive for you to understand that.
No shit,
Yeah,
man.
that's huge.
Yeah, of course,
because
bro.
that's where it comes from. That's
100%, bro. You got to admit it. I'm not ashamed of.
And I have insecurities.
Yeah, man. Fuck, I had massive insecurities, bro. I never felt good looking enough. I never felt good enough. I was too shy to talk to girls. I was really, I was a pretty fucking tough kid. I got into a lot of fights. I was a very mean kid. I was just one of those boys that's like, I used to get into a lot of trouble like that. Yeah, one of the boys. But I had a lot of insecurities and stuff, So that pushed me to work hard to make money. And then, and as I grew up, I thought really having nice things tells people that you've done well in life and you're good enough. You're good enough.
trying to prove a
Good
point.
enough.
Yeah, good enough for them to talk to you.
Correct.
Because we didn't know any better, right? Because we didn't fit the normal mold of society where we went to a private school. Our parents came from 6 generations of Australia, and we know that, we went to those, corporate jobs.
Bro, this is us 100%.
It's true. Like, my mum and
we
dad.
don't have it that easy.
Yeah,
bro.
that we did. Like, my dad didn't work at KPMG, so that I already had a job at KPMG set up when I left school. That's how it works, okay? So we didn't have.
We don't
all
need
of that
sausages.
Stuff. Like, we didn't have any of that stuff, okay? And again, my kids will probably have that stuff, okay? Because I worked hard for it to change the cycle for them, right?
That's what it's
But I didn't have all of that. So I had to really work hard for myself to prove to myself that I was good enough. But then as I started to do things and I started to make money and I started buying those nice things for the wrong reasons, I realized I met certain individuals in my life that really grounded me and said, well, the people that you meet when you have those nice things and those people love you for those nice things, they're the wrong people to have in your life in the first place. So you don't actually even want those people in your life.
Would you say the wrong reasons being, again, to...
They're users. They want to fucking use you. They want to see what they can get out of you. They're not there because they love you. So you always want to meet people that love you no matter what, and they love you because you make them laugh. You talk about rubbish, you talk about food, you talk about girls, you talk about cars, you talk about dumb things and you laugh and you cry together. That's called proper company. We have a good laugh, we enjoy ourselves. It should be only about that. It shouldn't be about, I'm going to be friends with so-and-so because I can get financially something out of them. And that's just really ugly. And unfortunately, you see a lot of that now, right? So the right people they don't care if you wear Rolex. But that's how it is, okay? That's how it is, man. And because we came, I always say to people, it's not my first rodeo, bro. I've been doing this for 20 years. So when you meet people, you read them like a book, okay? So you have to have a gift to read people. How do you read people? Based on their behavior. So there's little things you look for in a person, or when it comes time to pay the bill, who offers to pay the bill? It's not about them paying the bill.
And it's tradition too, and it's the simple things too. Like my grandfather, very, very old school.
Yeah.
Right? Similar story in the sense of he came from Greece. Yeah. He worked very, very hard. He had multiple different businesses, started up a massive food manufacturing company. He always used to tell me, you know a gentleman by their handshake.
Yeah, 100%.
If you shake someone's hand and it's like a loose handshake, that's how you know whether someone's authentic or not.
There you go. See, there's little things you got to look for, man.
Yeah.
Someone comes to your house, they take their shoes off, they don't take their shoes off, they offer to take your shoes off.
How they speak to your parents. All my friends come.
100%.
Hi, auntie. Hi, uncle.
Of course, man. So you know what it's called, man? You got to be mindful. Okay? So when you got to be mindful is when you respect someone. So if you act like a dickhead, that means you have no respect towards that person. Okay? And you don't want to be around people that don't have respect for you because they're no old school. They have no values, It's all about respect. Respect, manners, empathy. You got to have these things. So you get to your life in a place to your life that you could have everything you need within your own means. All you're looking for is just real. You don't need anything else.
How important is that in life, though, and into the road of success?
Very fucking important, man. You want to hang around people that are real.
Yeah.
You want to hang around people that love you for you, right? And yes, if you can do things together as friends, why not? You should always lift each other. Like it's always, if you can help each other out. I met someone maybe a year or two ago. We were at an event. They were there, having a small chat. And I connected them up with a friend of mine that has a massive winery. And they do a lot of weddings. And I think this young girl, I don't know, she's quite young. She does makeup and stuff. And I said, well, why don't I introduce you to the guy that has the weddings and the winery and stuff, and maybe you do the makeup for him or whatever. I got a message from that person just in New Year's after year saying, hey, I just want to say, I'll try to find it. It's something like along those, it was the best thing that someone's done for me. I can't believe someone did that for me. It's changed my business. It's changed my life. Thank you so much. Why not? It didn't cost me anything, man. That person, obviously, she was well-behaved. She was a nice person, well-mannered, had a 5-10 minute conversation. For me, it didn't cost me anything to do that at all.
It doesn't hurt to be a nice person. Like, literally.
You potentially changed her life.
Yeah, but it didn't cost me anything. But if that person was an idiot, was off their fucking face and being rude and disrespectful, there's no way I would have done that. Why would I? Because then I'm putting my friend in a bad position by recommending someone's idiot to them. So for me, the way they held themselves, the way they were nice, they were polite, it didn't cost me anything to connect them up. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you meet the right people, you have a duty to connect them up, man. Help them, give them a leg up. Why not? It doesn't cost you anything. Like, you know, to do that. One phone call, big deal, one message. But you only got to do that with the right people. And I think it's very important too.
Can't help everyone.
No, you can't, man. Because a lot of people, when you help them too much, they think you're weak and they take your kindness as a weakness and they'll fuck you over more.
Wow.
So when you give someone something too much, they actually expect it more and more. It's like, hey, man.
The more rope you give, the more they keep pulling.
Pull, man.
They keep pulling.
So it goes back to, again, what I said before. It's about when you meet people, show them your vulnerability. And it's hard to do that. I think it's easy said, but you can only do that when you're in a position where you're set for yourself. So you don't need anybody. So you don't give a fuck what they think of you because you don't need them. They're not going to pay your bills. Their opinion doesn't really fucking matter. So it's easy to sit there and say that. But you can only do that when you're set yourself. You don't need them. And then you see their true colors and the looks and the words don't lie. Once you hear that, they're either a good person or they're a bad person. And when someone's bad or someone does something wrong, you don't stoop down to the level. There's no need to yell, argue. You just cut them. It's the best punishment.
Because then you're just wasting your energy on
100%, man.
Yeah.
And the penny will drop one day. Oh, fuck, I had something good and I fucked it. But that's the best punishment. The best punishment is just block them, cut them, out of your life, boom. You know, Oprah Winfrey says, she said, believe them the first time they show you.
Wow.
Okay? Believe them the first time they show you.
Sick.
If someone misbehaves that first time, they're not going to change, man. They're just going to be, it's just who they are. And, you know, it's not our job to change them. I'm not their father.
Not Bob the Builder.
It's their thing, man. But they're fucking, if they're rotted, if their heart's rotted, if their character's rotted, forget about it, man.
I guess one thing I just want to touch on is when people build their business, and even now, there's this expectation that they need to be working a lot. And it is true to an extent, and I'm sure you can agree, when you're building a business, you have to put in a lot of work and a lot of hours. And that then can turn around and take away from, you know, time with your loved ones, so time with family, time away from your siblings. For me, example, I'm an advocate for it. I work really, really hard. I have a job that requires a lot of my attention and energy. I have this like baby that we're growing to and working really, really hard for. And you just find that it sort of deters you from, you know, I guess the real important things in your life in terms of family, friends, siblings, loved ones. Is that something you went through? And
how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay. So at your age, it's okay because you're still young. If you don't, so at your age, I worked my ass off. I was doing probably, I don't know, 15, 18-hour days. At some stage, I had 2 jobs. I used to finish one, then go across the road, do the other one. So you have to do that now. And this is the time to do it, okay?
Correct.
So I never went out until I was probably 30. I never went out. I just fucking worked, right? You got to build, so, and it's never too late. People get that FOMO. Oh my God, I'm going to miss out. There's always going to be a new car, a new club, a new girl, a new guy, a new restaurant. There's always going to be something. You're never going to miss out.
Europe's not going anywhere.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, man. It's always going to be something new. There's always going to be something new. So you're not going to miss out. But you got to work hard. Otherwise, it doesn't happen, man. So for me, probably the first 10 years, I worked my ass off. When I hit 40, so I'm turning 45 in 2 weeks. So when I hit,
happy birthday!
Thanks, boys.
Happy birthday.
And I feel
What's that, Valentine's Day?
No, just 11th of Feb. But I feel like I'm 20. I don't feel 45.
You look it.
Yeah, I feel it, bro. I feel the best I've ever felt in my entire life. Okay, touch wood. But when I hit 40, for me, things changed. I stopped and I did a lot of reflection, on what's important in my life. And now for me, I don't want to be a billionaire, man. I have no interest in having hundreds of millions of dollars. No interest whatsoever. I don't care. I don't want it. For me, it's that I am where I never ever dreamed of being today. I worked hard for it, and for me, I am content. I'm very fucking happy. I want to continue running my business because I have to the point that I don't have to anymore. But I prefer my time with family, friends, over business now, any time of the day, because I've earned the right to have that, and I wanna make up for the times that I missed out on. But I had to miss out on it. Yes, my daughter's first birthday, I was out answering a help desk call because we had an outage, and I couldn't, be with everybody because I had to fix things. What choice did I have?
You can't just leave it.
Well, I had no choice.
And it's those things I want to talk about, because it's those things where, you know, people around, and it's interesting because you have those close people to you who see you working hard, and they, I guess, at that point in time, don't understand what it's for. So I'm sure that
they're not in your head. They don't see the vision.
Because they're just different.
They're
different.
Okay.
They're
There's nothing wrong with that.
Two things I wanted to bring up that you sort of touched on. Number one is what you guys both said. It really comes down to emotional intelligence.
Yep.
Being able to almost detach yourself from, especially in business. Like if you need to work towards something, I'm sure when you're working 18-hour days, you're fucking tired, you're hungry, you miss your family and friends. It's like, well, again, there's no emotion in business. You just have to do what you have to do.
Because I saw the bigger picture. Because I looked 10,
you saw
20
the goal.
years ahead.
You saw the goal.
To get to that, I had to do this.
I think that's the massive component of that hard work being hard.
Shit.
Yeah. So that missing the time with the family, missing the loved ones, that sacrifice that you have to make, that I believe, like it's easy to work. It's easy to work consistently and to grow a business. But I think that is the chunk of what makes
it
hard work.
Yeah, the working
hard.
is actually the easy part. Yeah. It's dealing with all the other shit, dealing with the bills, the stress, the family.
I'll tell you an example. So my sister, she's very well educated. She got her PhD, doctorate, worked for many global companies, traveled the world, and I was a university dropout. So I always felt like the black sheep of the family. I just felt like I was never good enough. Coming from Iranian culture, you know, education is so important, you know. My parents always wanted me to be a doctor. Imagine me a doctor, open your mouth, fucking in the room. I'll kill myself. Imagine like in a fucking room like this all day. Fuck that.
Open your mouth. Hey, open your mouth.
Getting paid $100,000 to fucking, you know, check people's fuck off.
Check their ears and stuff.
Fucking disgusting. I would never do that. Anyways, so I never felt good enough, you know. And I always felt like I disappointed my parents. I always felt I disappointed my dad. I always felt this, you know, massive weight on my shoulders. And, you know, man, back 10 years ago when they did articles about me in the papers and all that, everybody used to say, oh, but I never got that recognition from my mum and dad. So one day I had my Christmas party, this is going back a long time ago, and I invited my father to my work Christmas party. And when my dad came and he saw the caliber of people we had there and what we have achieved, he gave me a hug, and we had this moment when we hugged each other and we cried. And that's when all the hard work that I did, it got acknowledged by the person that mattered the most to me.
The fulfillment was there.
So the reason why I'm sharing this story is that it's okay to do this, because it will come a moment that they will get it. Because they're not going to get it now, because they're from a different era, man. They're a different generation. It's not that they're good or bad. So from me to everybody listening today, and to you boys, keep doing what you're doing, because they will recognize it one day. I promise you. Because your parents love you the most. Like, you can be a drop kick, whatever, they'll still love you, no matter what you are. So make the sacrifices, do the time now for that reward down the track, and that reward will come, the acknowledgement and the recognition will come. And it's a beautiful feeling, man. It's a feeling that you cannot buy. It is so nice, you know. It's
that feeling of your dad giving you that.
Yeah, man. It was the best. We just wanted to be fucking accepted. We were nobodies. We were just little kids, you know. We were kids that went to public schools. We struggled. We fucking had nothing. We were just shit. We were the shit of the society. And we fucking changed it, all that. And we did it. Nobody did it. We didn't go raise money. Nobody gave a shit. We did it. If our hands didn't move, we made no fucking money. We did it. We're the only one that did it. And that's why you got to also recognize how much hard work you've done. You know, it comes down to, you know, Snoop Dogg did that speech, I want to thank myself above everybody else. Fuck yeah, man. Who else did it? We had people amongst us that encouraged us, gave us the love and everything, and we couldn't do it without them. But at the end of the day, we did it. So don't be afraid to do the hard work now. It's going to be all worth it. And everything you do, man, like when you race cars, you know, when you're driving, you look in front, they say, look at the corner coming up. If you just look in the front, you're going to miss that corner because you're going so
straight
fucking fast. Yeah, man.
Bausch.
Yeah. So when the guy told me when I was doing Phillip Island stuff like 4 or 5 years ago, the first time I was like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy? I'll look there, man. I'm going to look in front. But he goes, but you're going so fast. You're doing 150, 200 Ks an hour. So right in front of you is just going to go.
You're going to miss the turn.
Yeah. So listen to these words. The right in front is just going to go. Right? You got to look ahead. So in life too, man, time's just going to fly, dude. I can't believe I'm going to be 45. I feel like, fuck. I remember, you know how you remember everything? Because I feel like it was yesterday I did the things I did, right? So you always got to look ahead, man. Look ahead the corner above you, like, you know. Or you go, you know, people, like, we were at a beautiful place the other day, and there was a beautiful view in front of us, and everyone's looking at that view. And then the ocean was right behind that view. But no one could see the ocean. Everyone was looking at the fucking lake. I'm like, hey, boys, you see the fucking ocean? They're like, oh, bro, I didn't see it. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
They've all
But
caught up in Albert Park Lake.
they're
They
too
look at the lake. That's what he was right in front of him. Buddy, there's a fucking massive ocean. Like, look at the fucking sunset.
Yeah.
yeah, they're too focused on right now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, they don't see the bigger picture. They don't understand that, you know, me doing the long days, me doing all these emails is going to get to the bigger picture. Because it's all about that. We're really big on like reverse engineering. So if you've got this
100%.
$1 million goal, what do you have to do? What are the daily tasks you have to do to just do that every single day to get you to that $1 million goal?
100%, man. You got to do that. So don't ever feel, again, it comes back to the same fucking things. Don't be, you know, fear of missing out. It's going to happen, man. Your time will come. If it comes too quick, it will go quick. Because you just got it too easy. You didn't appreciate it. Boom, just happened. I promise you, it'll come fucking quick. It'll go quick. But if it comes slowly, and, you know, again.
You appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Small steps are sweet steps. Small.
I wonder, do your parents ever, because if you think about it, your parents are the ones and have played a massive part into your upbringing and your success.
Yep.
Who's then played a massive part into others' upbringings and success.
Yep.
Ours, for example.
Yep.
The story I told you when we started.
I love you, boys. Thank you. I feel uncomfortable when people give me compliments, but it's nice.
Do you want us to abuse you?
Fuck you, Sam. Fuck you.
I feel uncomfortable, but like, I love that, man. Yeah. And that's what I say.
Like you said, it's like
bro.
Helping others.
Yeah, man. You got to help the right people, but one thing I've learned is you got to help the right people. Okay?
Yeah, and that trickles down as well because we've had like
people that look up to you, boys. Of course, man. That's how the system works. You know, you said to me, oh, you know, do you get a lot of people asking to the podcast? Fuck yeah, I do. And I wish I could do it all, man. I wish I could do it all. I honestly wish. And I feel guilty because when I don't do it, because I'm like, fuck, man, I used to be there. I need to do it. And I wish I could. But you really need to really pass it down. You need to really, you know, help people as much as you can. But sometimes people forget that you got to work too. You know, fuck. Like people like, oh, I'll get a request. Some people saying, oh, can I have 10 minutes of your time? Can I have 10 minutes of time? I'm like, yeah.
Can I take you out for coffee?
Yeah, take you out for coffee. And you know, it's a nice thing, but bro, if I say yes to everybody, who's gonna run my fucking business? Like I'm not retired, and some people get upset. They're like, oh,
you think you're too good now?
Yeah, but Mark Boris gave me an hour. Okay, but Mark Boris could be in a different place in his life. I'm not Mark Boris. I'm Sam Bashiry. I have to fucking work, like, you know. And I wish I could. But if I gave 10 minutes to everybody every day, then how am I going to do my work?
Exactly.
I have to fucking rock up and work.
How can you keep doing what you're doing to move forward?
I have to. But at the same time, it's nice to make this time and have this conversation and put it on social and share it with people. And man, I'll tell you one thing, but the most beautiful thing you can do is have empathy in life. Empathy is such a
gratitude.
powerful thing. Yeah, man. Gratitude, empathy.
Everything keeps coming back to, again, energy and like law of attraction and like karma.
Be a good human, man.
That's it.
Be a good human. Like,
good things come.
Exactly. And you know when I say be a good human, as long as you know you're a good human, because what happens is, no matter how nice you are, one time you're going to say no and you're going to be a bad guy.
You have to do it. You have to do good things without the expectation of
return. You know, and
it's a law of reciprocity.
Yeah, 100%, man. But just be prepared that you're gonna upset some people because you're gonna say no once, and you know, and you gotta learn to say no, man. You can't say yes all the time. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Otherwise, go sell ice cream if you want to make everybody happy. Everybody loves ice cream. Just become a ice cream man.
Sam,
what's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Good question. I don't know. Nah, bro. I like the those 30 cents McDonald's cones.
Soft serve.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're the best.
I don't know how much they are now. But fucking, they're pretty good. Is that the dollar?
They're still 30 cents or 50 cents.
Are they really? No way.
Macca's has gone up with inflation, bro.
Yeah,
Financial literacy.
I used to love that.
Guys paying $30 for a tub of Ben and Jerry's.
Don't worry about it. I go to Macca's.
Man, I go out and I'll do this degustation menu bullshit. On the way home, I always get a kebab or stop at McDonald's. I'm still hungry. I need to fucking
Guys, listeners, just so you know, the road to Sam's success was buying Macca's soft serve.
Save your money.
Not Ben and Jerry's.
30 cents.
Stop going to Soho. Stop going to Nobu. Go to Macca's. Get yourself a kebab.
The answer.
What's your kebab order? What do you get in your kebab? You get lamb, chicken mix.
Lamb and chicken mix, but I like the open plate. So I like to do my own. So I'll get that bread, the salad, and I fucking do it myself. I put my own shit. Again, I like
Classic
to do my own
traits
way.
of an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I don't like being fed something that's already pre-made. Fuck that.
Forget the food. The most important question: what flavor shisha do you smoke?
What's your favorite?
Oh, boys. I never had shisha until 2 weeks ago.
Oh, you're kidding?
So what?
Never smoked shisha in my life. So
I thought on your story.
No,
I thought,
that was the first one. First time I had shisha, man.
When are we going? We're going.
So I'll tell you boys a story. So I went to Queenstown, New Zealand, signed up to Hilton. One of the biggest deals I did like 8-9 years ago.
Congratulations on that
thanks,
too.
man.
It's massive, yeah.
Came to the bar and I started buying drinks for everyone. And everyone's going, what the fuck is this guy, man? Some Chinese guy sitting there, he got scared. He thought I was some gangster. Man. He didn't want to talk to me. And then there was the 2 boys and their partners from Australia sitting in the corner. And one of them, his name was Tariq, this Turkish guy from Sydney. He couldn't help himself. He sent his wife to say hello to me to see who the fuck I am. She goes, hi. I'm like, hey. He goes, oh, this is my husband, Tariq. And I ended up becoming best friends with that guy that night. The bar closed at 10. We kept it open until 4 o'clock. In the morning, they had the...
As you do.
I swear to God, they had the fucking thing cleaning the champagne we sprayed on the roof. The bloke was cleaning it. Anyway, I met this guy, Tariq. Man, crazy how you meet people, huh? Became my best friend after that night. He always loved cars, so I took him on a journey. I did Targa Tasmania with Ferrari, their 70-year anniversary. First time Targa, I invited him to be my guest, so he was my co-driver. Then I did a couple other things with Ferrari, and I invited him to each one of them. And he just bought his first Ferrari 2 months ago.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
that's
fucking
massive.
awesome, man, because I wanted him to fucking feel it. I wanted him to put him in that fucking place. I wanted him to put...
Manifestation.
Yeah, bro, because I know how that shit works. I did it all my life. And he's become one of my best friends. Just the most nicest guy. We never talk about business. We don't do business. We talk about kebab. He's got a burger place called Burger Q in Mitchinbury in New South Wales. He does one of the best burgers. He's a funny guy. and he bought me my first shisha, man. And he reminded me there's like a very expensive shisha, like he had carbon fiber and all this shit. He goes, bro, this is not cheap shit. It's very expensive.
No, it's not.
Yeah, and he brought it to my house. He drove down. I think they were in Mildura or something for holidays. He drove down to my house, stayed one day only to give me that fucking present. And that was my first shisha, man. And he even bought that thing that you warm the coals. And then he bought the gas. Yeah, and then he goes to me, you put the flavor at the top.
This how you wrap it, you put the holes.
Yeah. And he put the flavor shit in the fridge.
Yeah.
And then my wife's like, what the fuck is that in the fridge? I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, that thing in the fridge, what is that?
It looks like jam.
Yeah, she said, what the fuck is that? I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, fucking Rick, he put this thing in the fridge. And you know what? I actually haven't smoked it since then, and I can't remember what flavor it was, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
Did you enjoy it though?
I fucking loved it.
Oh,
man.
Okay, we'll go.
I put Turkish music on because I love Turkish music. Yeah, I put Ibrahim Tatlıses. I love Ibrahim Tatlıses because I grew up to Ibrahim Tatlıses as a kid, going to Turkey every year. You know, when we were like very young. So I listened to Ibrahim Tatlıses. I smoked it, and you know what? I'm gonna smoke it today. When I get home, I'm gonna fucking smoke again. If I can work it out to put it all together.
Yeah,
again,
FaceTime me, I'll show you how to do it.
yeah.
It's
You gotta put water and stuff in it, right?
Yeah, you're gonna put water, but you can't put too much.
Not too much.
Yeah,
You can't put too much.
See, like where the bottom of the hose is, it should be like maybe a finger above the hose.
Ah, yeah.
And if you put too much, it won't bubble enough. And then you want to put like 2 coals on either end, not too much flavor in the middle.
I'll FaceTime you boys.
No,
Because I don't have no
dramas.
fucking on what I'm doing. But that was the first time I smoked shisha, man.
There you go. We love it. We
It's cool,
when you
huh?
sit and work and just
Yeah, we just go to a shisha place to do our work on
No
laptop.
shit.
yeah, it's
best.
perfect. Yeah.
There's a guy, Mint something.
Mint and Co, yeah.
He's
Some
one of me
packs,
sometimes. I've never
Packs.
been, bro.
Really, really nice.
I
guy.
wanted to go somewhere where there's too many brothers, they might, bash me or something.
No, very, very nice shop. Very, very nice guy. Pax
joking,
Pax
I'm
is a
joking.
gentleman.
Oh,
No,
no, it's a great facility there. It's good.
Well, so as we go, look, guys, to wrap up, we'll say if you're not smoking shisha, you're not going to be successful. So that's all
Or
we're going
buying
to say.
Mac and soft serve. No, honestly though, sorry, this episode has been really good in
I
the
loved
sense
it.
of getting deep, understanding the whys and
What life's about.
and it's not just all about how you actually did the business and how you made the money. It's just about what the whys was, the massive things.
Being a
you've
good,
learned
nice
too.
person, giving back to the community. Sam Bashiry, thank you very much, bro. It was an amazing chat. Pleasure to meet you. I'm sure we'll be in touch in the future. If you're not already, follow him on Instagram at Sam Bashiry and Broadband Solutions for all your broadband solutions.
Something like that.
Alrighty, guys. That's another episode of the Life Pod done, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you very
guys.
much. Bye bye.
Thank you.